It's been a long 2 weeks.
I hit go live. There you go. Hello. All right. All right. Welcome back to the Turf District for episode 102 of the Eskimo Empire podcast. I am your host, Andrew, and boy, do we have a few things to speak about tonight. There goes another GIF. Yeah, I can just see Bill finding that out. Yeah, this guy must be new. No kidding, eh, Joel? Yeah, I'm well behind. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And don't forget, while we're talking about it, you, of course, follow us on Twitter at Esks Empire Pod, on Facebook, under the Facebook group or Facebook page, actually, facebook.com/Esks Empire Pod. Of course, YouTube and SoundCloud and iTunes and all those other things as well. Oh, hey, you're welcome. Thank you for getting a Kwaku shirt, Leanne. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Instagram as well. I almost forgot that. And of course, Patreon. So can't forget that as well. All right. And before I forget, this week it's Labor Day. Hey, above all else, the excitement should be there. It is Labor Day weekend. It is our favorite part of all of the CFL season. Here comes the CFL inspired firecrackers. Yeah, I'm going to be real good on the Periscope if I can, and we'll see. Leave that for some show editing. Sorry, super fan. Okay. If you need any tickets to all of the big time games this weekend, make sure that you jump over to seatgiant.ca. They've got tickets for all of the games, including the big Labor Day rematch or Labor Day games on Monday, and of course the rematch the following week. Use the code Fire Trucker and get a discount on your tickets, but that also helps to sponsor and help to support the show. So please go on there and use that code. So we've got lots to talk about, so let's figure out who's here first. Oh yeah, let's turn this on. There we are. Oh, ta-da, let there be light. All right, first, as always, sitting to my immediate left, it is the one and only Super Fan Mike. Lovely. Hey, the point at the end is
well.
That's lovely. Hey, nice shirt.
Why, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Where did I get it from?
You got something on it up there.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that nice?
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, we got to meet up with Kwaku, and he was very gracious, signed everybody's shirts, and made time for everybody. Kwabena Asari was there as well. Yep. So great to see a couple of the draft picks there. So that was a great time.
Yeah, Kwabena is hilarious.
Yeah, he's
actually.
A funny guy.
We had some great laughs with him.
Yep.
So, otherwise, tailgating all good.
Yeah, the tailgate poutine went very well. I think
exactly.
We ran out, so that's a good sign.
Yes. So Labor Day rematch. We're back on the poutine.
Well, we'll see.
All right. Okay.
You don't want to give away too many surprises.
That's right. This is very true. All right, let's see who else is here and then get to some of our topics because I know people are waiting for those topics.
No idea.
Right over there, it is Fan Ben. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, yeah. Thanks for having me in here.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming. This is fantastic. Yeah. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of it here, I guess I just want to talk to you a little bit about how you got to be an Eskimo fan and being, of course, we kind of met through Esks fans, and kind of how long have you been on there?
Yeah, okay. Well, if you want to know about how I became a fan of the Eskimos in the first place,
yeah,
you're going to have to go all the way back to before I can remember, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you were born into it.
Pretty much.
Okay, perfect. Excellent.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I mean, my dad's got stories of taking me to games as an infant, 1, 2, 3-year-old. So
nice.
So it's been a reality for me since as long as I can remember, going to the games with Dad, and just sitting in Commonwealth and soaking it all in and cheering for the Eskimos, and it's just become part of me, really.
Awesome, yeah. Awesome. And of course, now you've been on Esks fans for
I think I joined there in 2009.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
8 years.
Good. So that's a long.
It's a while.
That's pretty good. Wow. Okay, we'll take that. All right, let's get into it because people are obviously wondering what's going on. Big story, of course, of the day was the Art Brils hiring and then letting go before the end of the day, which is actually probably good before we did the Periscope.
Yes.
It'll make it a little bit easier. I'll just bounce around here, but
Sure.
we can talk. Lonnie says Ben has 100 daughters. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And so actually, you know what? We're both dads.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I'm sure that plays a role into it. Kind of your general feeling about how this all kind of went down today with Hamilton and the CFL.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not into it.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone.
Definitely disappointed. I mean, obviously, I'm glad that Ambrosi stepped in and did the right thing, but
yes,
at the same time, disappointed that it got to this point in the first place.
Yeah.
Like it.
Agreed.
Yeah, it definitely feels like one of those things that should have been a non-starter, right? Like someone brings it up, and you like to think that somewhere along the line there's someone that would immediately say, no, like, what do you think?
This can't happen.
This can't happen. But somehow it got through however many levels I needed to get through to be announced to us today, which is unfortunate. But like I said, thankful that eventually the right move was made.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Super fan. Oh, and lots of people saying what he said, and especially on the heels of the diversity campaign.
Yes.
I think,
and the Bring It In
the
campaign.
Feeling you were about to take over that, so that's why I'm mentioning it.
Yeah, I think it's especially disappointing in that it's made news across North America, but outside of our circles, it's CFL hires Art Brils, not the Hamilton Tiger Cats. This affects not just the Tiger Cats, but fans of every team in this league.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing that, according to the Scott Mitchell interview, the president of the Tiger Cats, that it would had full approval from the owner Bob Young and the CFL, the league itself. And the fact that it eventually got overturned is great that they did that at the bare minimum, but like Ben said, how did it get to this point?
Right.
It's disappointing is probably the mildest word I can use.
Well, and some people were saying, it's we just had a comment here, 0-8, it's desperation, but Jedi just did say, it's dignity over desperation, and
it's a great way to put it.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's yes, you're 0-8, but if this had continued on, everyone was now cheering for 0-18.
Yes, because
they did not want that to stay.
No,
right, and I think in the long run, the CFL makes the right decision here.
Yeah, and like you say, though, it's the long run, and that's what I think I'm
problem.
still most disappointed in. I know Mitchell said that they had the league's approval, if not blessing. Mm-hmm. But who was that?
Sorry. Joel just said, "Superfan, you're scaring me. Smile, man." Okay, that's good.
How can you smile at a time like this?
Smile. Yeah, exactly. You know what's really great?
It's really, exactly.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's just exceptionally disappointing that so many people thought that this was acceptable.
I agree.
Whether that's June Jones, who is a friend of Brils, or whether it's Mitchell, whether it's Vice President of Football Ops, whether it's the owner, or whether it's the league. And the fact that nobody stopped and said, there's way more important things than get a guy that might help us win.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what got him in trouble in the first place, is that the winning came before the people who were involved.
Yes.
And that's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Never will be. Right?
I'm interested to see what happens in the Labor Day game in Hamilton, to see how many fans are in the stands, if people are going to bring signs or what. I do hope they support the players.
Yes.
And some of the staff associated with that team that obviously did not have a say in this decision. Yeah. Because through no fault of theirs, this whole circus happened.
Yeah.
So, we will see.
Yeah, it's but a tough spot to be in, right?
It is.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of paper bags, is Celeste. So I can't disagree on that particular point.
Can't disagree at all.
And I'm just gonna see here. Somebody just said, now what does Manziel want to still play with Hamilton? Now, there's a guy that I could actually get behind giving a second chance.
Yes.
just so that everyone, just so that
there
we're clear.
We go.
That is the prime example of a guy who could get a second chance. Brill's not so much with me.
No.
And so I am glad that they did make that. And I want to just kind of restate what you had just said there, Mike. One of the things is that I had a conversation with Papa Duck a little bit on Twitter today about the whole, okay, well, what, like, I hope the players don't want to play for him, but that puts them in such a bad spot of having to choose, oh, do I want to play for this guy, but do I want to make a paycheck? Right? And support all those things, the reasons that they're in professional football. And that is really, really difficult, and it was really sad that they got to the point where they had to be in a position to possibly have to make that choice. But as Bill just said, kudos to the commissioner for being involved, and obviously in the end they made the right decision. But man, the whole stuff around it is not stuff that we wanted, especially after the positive of the diversity is strength. So hopefully that can get back on track, and I really, really hope that in this, not even 24 hours, obviously we've had to deal with a lot of hurt and frustration, and all legitimate, should be there. But I hope that we can kind of deal with that over the next couple of days, and we can enjoy Labor Day weekend. Is that fair to say?
That's fair. Well, I hope we enjoy Labor Day.
Well, some of us may enjoy it more than others. I'm not really entirely sure. Bill just said it does reinforce that the league is on the right track, which I agree. And Leslie just said that, she thinks Orage might have nixed it before it even came as an announcement. Possibly. And it's really hard to, there was never really clear how much the commissioner actually knew of this at the time. So I know that the CFL did know it, but did the commissioner actually know every part of it? I don't know. And obviously that story's never going to come out. So what we do know now is, yes, it was late, but the reaction was made, and the choice.
I'm glad it was made tonight and not tomorrow.
Exactly. It's right now, right? So that's a good thing. All right, let's get some happier things.
Yes.
But that means we can't talk about the game yet. So let's go back to Ben. All right, here we go. Thank you. All right, so let's do something for fun. A good Esks memory that you have.
A good Esks memory.
Yeah.
Okay. Just anything else.
Anything Eskimos that you remember that attaches you to the team.
Oh man. Well, other than just kind of the general nostalgic feeling of sitting in Commonwealth on like a beautiful fall day from my childhood, specific memories. Was it 2009, the Calgary game that went to overtime?
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that one play, the game-winning touchdown that Fred Stamps caught over the middle, is something that's just burned in my memory.
Can still hear the call.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Absolutely can still hear the call.
Yeah.
Man, just watching him fly across the middle and lay out for that ball is like one of the highlights for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really really cool. That is a good one for sure.
All right. Well, you actually went to the same high school I did, but you played, 20 years later.
Yeah.
But you played football there.
Yeah.
And you did play football with someone that's currently on the team right now.
I did. That's right.
So the question I have is, how long was Hugh O'Neill's beard back then?
You know what? He didn't have a beard back in
No,
high
I could
school.
imagine.
Things I remember about Hugh, though, is just he is just kind of a quiet guy, but he was a really nice guy.
A quiet kicker, that's shocking.
But the thing was, he wasn't just a kicker.
Right.
He was also, I think, maybe the best middle linebacker in Edmonton High School at that time.
Oh, wow.
He was a monster in the middle. He was unreal. But the thing that stuck out with Hugh was that every single day we show up at practice, and Hugh's already been there for an hour punting.
Oh, wow.
And we leave practice, and we're all heading back, and Hugh's heading back to the field to keep punting, practicing punting. Wow. I'm sure he must have put in a couple hours a day minimum, just punting and kicking and punting and kicking.
Wow.
Yeah. And we would sit there and watch him just practice over and over and over again. And we were like, man, this guy's going to the CFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he was just so unreal. And even back then, he was hitting the long field goals that no other high school kid could have a hope at. Yeah, so we kind of knew, or we kind of figured that he was destined for great things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the punting actually is the best part of his game.
Oh, yes.
That's what I would say.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Well, I mean, he has the league best for net and for total yards.
Yeah, so that is very good.
I'd love to see if there's a way, once White is healthy, to keep them both on the roster. Sure. I know it's tough. You don't necessarily want to carry two kickers if you can avoid it, but the value we get with Hughes punting and White's field goal.
Too.
Yeah. And White's field goal kicking, I think you're
Yeah, I don't think you're alone in that thinking.
Yeah.
No.
We're sure hoping that that's the case.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more for you here because I think this is, because we just don't have enough controversial stuff to talk about tonight. So now we saw Franklin come into the game.
Yeah.
Not the way we wanted to see him.
No.
But on the other hand, we get to play the Hey It's Franklin song in the show.
That's true.
So that's exciting. Now, I'm going to go with the assumption that he is being traded in the offseason. That's not my favorite assumption, but it is the assumption I'm going to make. Let's just say now we've probably got 2 or 3 teams that are kind of vying to obtain him, I guess. Yeah. Right now, I could easily see it coming out of possibly Montreal. I could see it possibly out of Toronto. I could see it possibly even out of Hamilton.
Sure.
What would you say would be the estimated return? Now again, I'm talking off season.
Yeah.
Prior to free agency, obviously, with a chance to trade and sign.
Right.
I mean, in that situation, I'm not getting the dollar signs in my eyes here. Like, I think it's going to be similar to how we acquired Riley. It'll be a swap and picks or something like that. Maybe if we're lucky, maybe we could get that second rounder back that we sent to Hamilton.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not expecting a huge haul.
A huge haul.
Because essentially you're trading a guy's negotiation rights, right? You give the team that gets him gets a couple months to try and sign him.
If that.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Ooh, this is stirring up a bit of conversation on there.
Is it?
Outstanding.
Kayla said Nick Lewis catching from Franklin. Oh my, that would that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Depends on if he's going to be there or not.
Yeah, Toronto. S.J. Green catching from Franklin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that's in the East. They can go ahead and do that. The East needs something to be better.
Yeah.
Really do.
They really do. That's why we're trying to be helpful. I'm just answer a couple of questions because I saw Joel said there was he was asking about the diversity of strength shirts in the Eskimo store. I'm not sure if they're there yet, but they're supposed to be there this
September,
week sometime.
Yes.
So they should be pretty soon.
Friday of September.
So there you go. Yeah, so it should be right away. And then the other thing was he told me to shut my mouth. Which usually I would, but this is a good topic.
That would be a really kind of boring Periscope, wouldn't it?
It really would, yeah. And you should know me better. All I do is talk. Okay.
All I do is talk.
And then Celeste said anywhere but Saskatchewan or Calgary. I 100% agree.
Not going to Calgary. There's no way.
Yeah.
Not with Bo Levi in there. He's not going to BC. He's not going to. I mean, Ottawa. He's got the most touchdowns thrown.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
He's not replacing Harris. I think, like Ben said, we're not going to be seeing big returns, even with 3 different teams needing his services. I think what you're going to see is conditional. Is going to get tossed around a lot. It's going to depend on whether or not they can sign him. If somebody like Hamilton, like Toronto, trades for him and is unable to sign it, it's going to be very little.
Sorry.
That's all
just said all I do is talk by DJ Khalid. Yeah,
right.
DJ Andrew, all I do is talk. Yeah,
Let's go with that.
Yes, that's good.
So I think you're going to see maybe a swap of picks. If we could get Hamilton's second rounder, that's like a late first rounder.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be dead last.
Exactly.
That's going to be a 10th overall pick, assuming nobody loses their first round pick in some sort of supplemental.
Yeah.
Interesting. That'd work. I think that's what we're going to see is much like with the Riley trade. I think we're going to maybe see a little bit better than the Riley trade because more people are going after him.
Yeah.
Whereas when we got Riley, it was pretty much just us and Winnipeg, and I don't think Winnipeg.
And Winnipeg
they were just waiting for free agency.
moved to Drew Willie.
Right, but they were, I think, waiting for free agency for him to get, and then once they didn't, that's when they got Willie.
Yeah,
that was sort of their backup plan, and that worked out real well for them.
Didn't it?
Well,
it did in the end.
I was going to say
trade.
I was going to say they ended up getting pretty good stuff in a trade.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best we can hope for at this point. But to me, there's no point in trading him before the end of the season because you need that contingency. Because let's say we trade him by the trade deadline, and Riley gets hurt, then you've got O'Brien and Klein as your quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Or we've got to trade a lot for someone else's quarterback.
Right.
And we may end up paying more than we got for Franklin. So
entirely.
So it's expensive insurance policy, but we have to take the insurance policy.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's see. Now I have to answer that. Well, it won't matter because the turtle goes nowhere. All right, that's my answer right there. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Oh, and see, Lonnie just said, unless you get Ray in return. If the trade happens where he goes and we get Ricky coming back as a backup, that might go earlier.
I actually agree. That's the only scenario I could see where you trade him before the end of the season.
Before the end of the season. Yeah. That would be, exactly. Yeah, if you could. And Jedi just said, fire truck that. All right, well, I know. We love the turtle. Yeah, exactly.
And she hates Ray.
Yeah, okay. Well, but...
I feel like Ray is destined to be back here at some point.
He will be at some point. I agree.
In the whole world,
right? I wholeheartedly agree.
I was surprised we didn't see Stamps retire as an Eskimo, so you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have a quarterback coach right now, do we?
Yeah, we do. Maximic is the quarterback.
Maximic,
coach?
Or no, isn't he the offensive assistant?
No, he was.
I thought he was
2 years ago.
Now it's
Jackson.
Right.
He's officially quarterback coach now. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and I got another guy saying like Klein on here, and I have to agree. Like he's a guy that we're going to be grooming, right?
He will probably be the one that they're looking to eventually replace Riley.
Exactly.
In 4 years.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Yeah. All right, well, we got to get to recording. So thank you for everyone for joining in and our maybe not so happy talk to start with, but we did get more fun as it went on. We will have the show will be out on Wednesday. We're going to have lots more with Ben. We're going to, of course, review the game that happened on Friday, which may actually be our most fire trucker laden episode that we've had this season. We'll see how that goes. We, of course, will do our pick'em. We'll go over some of the out-of-town scoreboard. At least we weren't rehashing Friday at Periscope. You know, Bill, if I'd have done that, I could never have really actually posted that because... Oh my goodness, I was not in a good mood on Friday night. So, of course, our next game is this week, Labor Day Monday. We will be down, Mike and I and Jedi will be all together down to watch the Labor Day Classic. And we will be, of course, joining our friends at the CFL Horsemen for some tailgating pre-game. And then head in and, we'll be cheering real loud. Hopefully cheering a lot. Thank you. I was waiting for the knock. I appreciate that. So if you're coming down to the Labor Day game, make sure you come and find us. Give us a message so that we can meet up with you and be down in enemy territory together. And, of course, find us on all the other spots. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And as always, I guess, I do want to say a shout out to web mistress Kayla, who couldn't end up being here tonight, but we will see her on Monday as well. So join us all there. Until then, have a wonderful week, and we will absolutely talk to you on Monday.